This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Friday, November 22nd, 2024. I'm Mark Mazurek. The largest private housing investment in Carroll County history is now ready to welcome new residents. The $12.7 million Interurban Apartments opened with a ribbon-cutting event Friday. The Interurban features 68 units and amenities including a pet wash, fitness center, and communal spaces. Delphi Mayor Carmen Yates tells IIB the project aligns with the city's goals of planning for the future.
It's a huge impact. So when you have a city the size of Delphi of 3,000 citizens, you have to look into the future, right? So our goal is not only to plan for today, but we have to plan for the future.
Yates credits his predecessor, Anita Whirling, for spearheading the project, which broke ground in September of 2023. The Interurban is located 1 block away from downtown Delphi and was built on the site of a former parking lot.
68 units is a huge historical impact for the city of Delphi.
The project was made possible by a combination of tax increment financing, grants from the state's READY initiative, redevelopment tax credits, and more. Fort Wayne-based Do It Best Corporation has completed its nearly $200 million acquisition of True Value Company. Do It Best announced the finalized acquisition on Friday, which brings more than 4,500 independently owned hardware retailers under the Do It Best umbrella, including stores in more than 24 Indiana communities. The deal was first announced in mid-October when Chicago-based True Value began voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings. In an interview with Inside Indiana Business host Gary Dick, Do It Best CEO Dan Starr said the acquisition creates opportunity for his company.
The main thing it is opportunity, and I look at a couple different things. One is just the sincere growth that this gives us. We're talking earlier that it would double the number of members that we have. 4,000 is already a lot, but to have another 4,000 across the country and across the world is significant. That makes us the largest co-op on the planet.
The acquisition saw Do It Best make an initial cash offering of $153 million and assume up to $45 million in additional liabilities. For more information on the acquisition, head to InsideIndianaBusiness.com. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Central Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the IEDC invite you to Engage Central Indiana, December 12th in Indianapolis, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join us for a day focused on Central Indiana's growth. Connect with fellow leaders and walk away with bold new thinking to help your region thrive. RSVP now at ibj.com/engage.
A subsidiary of Fort Wayne-based Solve Holdings is adding a metal fabrication company in Noble County to its profile. Solve Metals announced this week the acquisition of WickFab Inc., headquartered in the town of Avila. Financial terms are not being disclosed. WickFab was founded in 1993 by John Wicker and was bought by Joe and Cheryl Cochran in 2016. The company specializes in metal processing services, including metal forming, laser cutting, water jet, and welding. The acquisition brings Solve Metals' total employee headcount to 240. The University of Indianapolis has landed a $5 million gift from the retired top human resources officer at Eli Lilly and Company, who is directing the money to 3 new programs at the business school. The university said Friday morning that the gift comes from Stephen Fry, a first-generation college student from rural Indiana who graduated in 1987 with a business degree and rose over the decades to become Senior Vice President of Human Services and Diversity at Lilly. Fry held that position for 12 years before retiring in 2022. Instead of going towards the more commonly seen building project, the money will go towards programs designed to give students real-world business experience along with their classroom learning. Most of the money will create the Fry Business Scholars Program, in which an annual cohort of students will receive experiences in and out of the classroom, supervised and mentored by a director. Students will have funding to participate in national conferences, case competitions, internships, and other immersive experiences. The gift also establishes the Fry Distinguished Lecture Series to bring leading thinkers and innovators to campus each year. And with a restructuring at Andretti Global that pushed Michael Andretti into a smaller role, the chances of his organization landing a Formula One team have substantially increased. So much so that F1 and Formula One management could have a decision to grant the General Motors-backed entry a spot as the 11th team on the grid in the coming weeks. Dan Trowis, now the majority owner of the Andretti organization, was at the Las Vegas Grand Prix on Thursday, scoping his chances of entering the top motorsports series in the world. F1 currently has 10 teams that field 20 cars, and only one is an American team. Las Vegas marks the third race this season in the United States, more than any other country, as F1 has exploded in American popularity over the last 5 years. Musician, cheesemaker, filmmaker, and educator, Paramount Schools of Excellence CEO Tommy Reddix is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast, hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.